Today, for some reason at the end, I'm making this video in English. I was I thought I was gonna do it in Spanish because it's about the death of Robbie Iniesta and who he was in Spain. But because the message I was speaking with Marianne, and I've been telling her about different things about Robbie Iniesta and the Majestic album, and I had conversations with artificial intelligence in regards with these aspects. There are so many common perspectives, dimensions, connections in between Robe, Iniesta and Kurt Cobain. But Robe Iniesta had an amazing passion for life and for the nature, and Kurt Cobain as well. Both in different ways hated people. Of course, Kurt Cobain, I think everybody knows that. Robe Iniesta issued an album called Go All and Fuck Yourselves. Iros todos a tomar por culo. Like, I don't give a shit about whatever you are saying, or Guns N' Roses. But the thing is that the rock and roll attitude, Guns N' Roses was more about fun, but they were having a lot of meaningful lyrics that people never appreciated for whatever reason because of the paraphernalia about the girls and drugs, which is just life of avatars containing the daemons in the highest level of expressions. Robbie Iniesta was one of the very few in Spain that they were like that. There are many stars in many of the countries, but like Robbie Iniesta being meaningful, because an artist is an artist. You don't have to be meaningful to be an artist. You just express what you feel. If you are very good connecting with people, that makes you a famous artist. It doesn't mean that your message is meaningful. It can be entertainment, entertaining, it can be sweet, it can be drinkable in any art expression that you are succeeding. But succeeding is to be in the map of desires of the majority. So everything that is majority is away from Robe Iniesta, Kurt Cobain, Axl Rose, Ozzy Osbourne, infinite number of people. And they are the most known, but there are many unknown. There are many more unknown that known. Known doesn't make them better or worse. Makes them known. And the other ones unknown. But the ones that they are unknown, they have nothing in common to each other from the eyes of the no awakened people, the people who never was out of the cave, the people who can't even understand Metaphrenia, who can't understand getting out of the spectrum. First they gave you a definition of who you are. Now you are a spectrum, part of the spectrum. Okay, they are making the the frame and the limits bigger for the herd, but you still don't realize that you are herd. And it was so clear and positive in a way that the priests are the shepherds of all the sheep, that they are scared of the wolf, not knowing that the wolf is wearing the sheep skin. And because people are taught to be straight and the way God wants you to be, it's so easy to be in that herd, taking advantage of the individuals. And it's full of cannibals inside the religion, the priests, the parents, the family, the things. And then when every single person realizes what that dark, light white thing really is, some of them commit suicide, some of them change their life, but none of them are awakened. They are just a little bit more broken. And the only solution is metaphrenia. Metaphrenia is the heal for schizophrenia, or makes schizophrenia irrelevant. Why you suffer schizophrenia when you suffer normality? Your sickness is that you are suffering this normality, that this normality is an artificial sickness in which you, in a voluntary way, decide to have that sickness. And the sickness is the believer of that what someone else created for you. So you don't have to create anything else, and you're not allowed to create anything else. And that's why they are so negative towards artists, because they are bringing things from the pagan world that is not interesting and is against our beliefs. And the artists are not all the same. They are not all on the same frequency. They are not all the same dimension, on the same perspective. Nobody shares everything, but there are different levels of connecting. I'm sure everybody knows at what the level you connect with this person and with that other person, how emotionally. But the limit of how you see is the limit of your own perception of yourself and how aware you can be of awareness. All these things were explained by Axl Rose, Ozzy Osbourne, Robbie Iniesta, Kurt Cobain, many others that I know, and many others that I don't know, famous or not famous, because I cannot name all the famous that I know, but there are many famous that I don't know, because I have to feel it. I don't know if Oasis brother, one of them, not both, would connect with Metaphrenia. I don't know, because I haven't been exposed to Oasis philosophy, meaning I've been exposed, but I haven't been analyzing because I felt it. And that's why probably I'm mentioning them. But I don't know much. I've been so intoxicated by different people, not from them. I have no contact at all with them. So everything that I get is just noise. But through the noise, I can feel things. So sometimes it's difficult. Not difficult, it's just that is not happening. There are not connections, true connections. But just being aware of this noise that the people are giving you through different information that depends on some of the information that they got from who knows where and how they interpret it. And when it comes to you and you say it makes no sense, so you need to go to the source always about everything, not about the Oasis, the brothers. I don't even remember their name, because the structure is much more important than any single story. There are many stories that would comply to this mini story of Oasis and the things that I'm saying if you are in Thailand or in China. What I found fascinating was meeting someone who didn't know who Elvis Presley was, or some people who didn't know who John Lennon was. And it's such a normal thing, but it's like a sacrilege for European people or for Western people, the Western culture, which is awesome, amazing, incredible, but that's it. Their culture and their many times lack of culture, just like in many times in Western world. But that is not important when there is a connection and there is respect and there is curiosity. So I really wanted to talk about Robbie Iniesta and Rock Transgresivo album. Ese de iros todos a tomar por culo. I had so many connections in my life. I never was a fan of Extremoduro because many reasons. I liked the lyrics, but the music was not so amazing for me. The message were so obvious that I thought that people got the different levels of the lyrics, of the feelings, of the many things like in any other bands. But then when you start speaking with people, you see that most of them, they just got something that they were hurt and they had a trauma and they went through that, realizing through some letters, some lyrics about themselves. And that's it. Instead of being the creator and the observer and the observed and the transcended, just like Robbie Iniesta or Kurt Cobain were. In a completely different way. In completely different levels of awareness. But they were connected in the same level of expressing their art. They were not playing classical music, even though they might like it, but it was not a channel to express the message or the root or the source that was provoking the vomit of that kind of art in music and lyrics, in the way I'm vomiting my no reflections, because a reflection can never be vomited. A reflection must be chewed, swallowed. Go to your guts, and your guts send the information to your brain. Robert Iniesta life, somebody called it would call it the curve of change. But there is no such stupid thing limited and framed by a curve. For everyone's life is a continuous change. And the conservatives, I'm sorry for them, because they are proud of being fighting against the change, and we made this dam higher than the ocean, and we are people from the Netherlands. It's good, perfect, admirable. I'm not against anything. I'm probably in favor of everything. It would be at the end the same story. But people would try hard to be right in why it is worthy or stupid to be against something or in favor of something. And we can stay another 100 years arguing about the same thing because somebody is putting the stick on the wheels of evolution, which is the human and mindfulness, which means with no mindfulness. The mindful thing is another limitation. Is the limitation for metaphrenia.